Good morning, my beautiful brothers and sisters in Yeshua. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of October, 2023. It is 10:13 a.m. here in Australia. I hope you're doing well and I hope you've all been very blessed. Before I start this video today, I want to show you this disclaimer here. This is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. It allows me to use the footage that I'm going to show in my videos for comment and teaching and research. And I just wanted to get that out of the way, brothers and sisters. So, because what I'm about to show you is absolutely incredible. And I'm just going to, without blabbering on too much, I'm going to jump straight into it because it's of utmost importance. Before I do so, I just want to give my praise and worship to the Almighty God, Jehovah, and His beautiful, precious, and loving Son, Yeshua Jesus Christ. All glory goes to them. And I also want to thank my beautiful sister who I had a phone conversation with yesterday, and Father laid some incredible truths on our heart, and I've been very excited to come and share this with you. But last night I went to do it and I did half of the video, but I was just still in total excitement mode and I needed to calm the farm down and bring this to you this morning. So I pray for the wisdom and discernment, and that Father puts this video in a nice understanding manner, and for you all to have your ears and your eyes open to how important this truth is. So with that being said, let's get into it. So today's video I'm going to be talking about the mark of the beast. And I think this is an utmost important because I think this is where we are right now. We're going to be looking at the mark of the beast, and as I've said to you before, and we can go over that again, when you read Revelation 13, it's very obvious that us, the bride, we are not here, and this is not for us. But in saying that, there shall be some of us left here that have not had enough oil in their lamps, and they will have to go through this. So this is why this video will now be made now. So for the warning, for the shofar on the wall, so that you know what to look for and when it comes, so that you can warn others, because you've been told about this beforehand. So let's just read the mark of the beast here. And as you can see up here, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So the first thing I want everybody to notice, it's the image of the beast that people are being forced to worship. It's not the beast itself, it's the image of the beast. That is of utmost importance that we remember that and put that in the forefront of our mind, that it's the image. And then it says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, or 666. Okay, so with that being said, we can see here that very much so that the jibby jab, what we've been through in the last 3 years, has definitely been a precursor to this. The jab was definitely not by any means the mark of the beast. For one, there was no image of the beast that we had to worship, or to be beheaded if we didn't worship it, and also we had nothing in our foreheads. Okay, now a lot of people are going to say the hand and the foreheads have to do with worship, and that's absolutely correct. And what I'm about to show you is incredible, and it's been right there in front of us the whole time. But now, because of the war over in Israel and Palestine, and now a lot of other neighboring countries are getting involved, and you can see the progression of what's about to happen. This video is in perfect timing, because you'll be able to see how God covered this from our eyes. And maybe some of you already know this, but a lot of us, like, I was absolutely amazed when I seen this footage, and then all the connections that were put together when I was having the phone call with my sister yesterday was incredible. So definitely the jab and the passports and everything, and the QR codes and everything that went with that. It was a precursor. Absolutely, it's to get us used to the idea of all those things. And so with that being said, we're going to jump straight into the first video that I want to show you.
Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Notice a man. That's in my book, by the way, that I cover that and explain that in a little more detail. And his number is 666. Several years back, I taught a message on the golem, an understanding of the golem. And I brought out just briefly at the end of that message, because I only saw with the light that I had at the time. But I knew there was far more. We think of 666. And there's been so many prognostications and so many things said about the mark of the beast. And we've all heard it, and we've all probably taught it. I mean, I've written scripts on, microchips, and that's real big right now, and all this kind of thing. But when I saw your explanation in your book of this, it was just so staggering to me. You can explain it far better than I. Will you take a few minutes and just give us your understanding of this, because it's going to be so enlightening to so many people. It's Chi, Psi, and Stigma.
They didn't know what these symbols were, so they thought they were Greek symbols. Then they began to evolve into, let's see, what do these symbols really mean? Why would there be 3 Greek symbols into the text? Why would God put 3 Greek symbols as a mystery? Well, God is not an author of mysteries, by the way. His yoke is easy. What they thought were symbols were in reality a different script than even the Greek. God is not interested in gematria. Gematria is the process of adding numerals regarding names. Maybe you take Hillary Clinton. H is number is this, and and then you add it up, see if Hillary Clinton means 666, and maybe she's the beast. Maybe it's Gorbachev, so then Gorbachev, and you add 666. Gematria was a process that was used in witchcraft. God is not interested in this gematria stuff, okay? So this developed, and then the translation started to put down 666 because they thought it was about the gematria. But if you look at the Codex Sinaiticus and the different codexes, they don't have 666. They got these symbols. Some even translated these symbols as 616, but it's not. When I first saw the Codex Vaticanus, I was literally shocked because I could read the text. It was Arabic. And as I look at it, it had these,
y'all. Here it is.
What thought these symbols. This and this in a very kind of circular way, And then you had this symbol. All right? Now this is an Arabic word. You can film it and ask any Arab, what is that word? Bism, in the name of. And this word, you can ask any Arab what that word is. Bism Allah, in the name of Allah, was on that badge that people put in their foreheads, as John documented what he saw on the godly video. God showed him. And that will be the symbol of Islam, which is the 2 swords. That is a symbol in Saudi Arabia. It's a symbol of Islam from the eons of time.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I won't watch too much of this. I'm going to link everything down below. You can watch it yourself. It's absolutely incredible. But what I want you to realize here, brothers and sisters, is it's been there all along. Okay? The church fathers, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, they have covered this up in an effort to try and deceive us into what is. And so we're always looking to the future. We're always looking at this. We're always looking at that. Everything but what is the actual truth. Okay, so that is absolutely incredible. And basically, we'll just go up a little bit. Now you can see this is what they wear on their foreheads, and where are we? Yeah, so that's it there. That's what the actual symbols were, brothers and sisters. It was not. See, the whole New Testament and the book of Revelation was written in Greek. And these symbols here, which the Greek translated as 666, were actually Aramaic symbols, which were chi, si, and sigma, okay? And this is what you get. They weren't actually the numbers, so to speak, but they did equal that number in the Greek text, but this is what they originally mean. This is what John saw in the book of Revelation in the name of Allah. That was the mark of the beast. Okay, we can have a look at here. You type it in, Greek number 666, name of Allah. Is everywhere, brothers and sisters. It's not just somebody picking at straws or making this up. It's literally everywhere, and I can't believe we've never seen it before. And now, with what we're seeing over in Israel and Palestine and all the surrounding Middle Eastern nations and stuff, and how many people are getting onto the Palestine's side and everything like this, it's exactly as the Bible is playing out, exactly like the Bible said would play out. That Father was going to be gathering the nations to come and fight against Israel. Okay? And only a remnant is going to be spared out of the nation of Israel. And that is 144,000. So this is absolutely imperative that you understand this and that you go and do your own research on this. But this is not just somebody having a guess. This is factual. This is somebody with Arabic knowledge and Greek knowledge, and like I said, like you can see here, you can see, and it makes perfect sense, in the name of Allah, and they've got both their swords there. So the next thing we're going to go on to, all right, the next thing is the whole wide worship of the beast. Okay, where have we got that written? And he had power to give, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, they should be killed. And we know how these people are going to be killed is by beheading. Okay, and who does that kind of killing? All right, it's very plain to see now, isn't it? Okay, and here we have an article, and many of you people would have seen it. Basically, the Hamas commander, Mahmoud al-Zahar, he's basically, and he's not the only one, they're all coming out now. They're all coming out and claiming that the entire world will be under our law, the Sharia law. Okay, it starts at, we'll watch a video.
لما نتكلم ان احنا جيش القدس ونتكلم عن معركة وعد الآخرة، لا نتكلم فيها لأننا سنحرر أرضنا فقط. 510 مليون كيلومتر مربع.
What I'll do is I'll start it and I'll read the subtitles for you in case you can't see it. Okay, it says, a phase in which we can defend the occupied land. When we speak about the army of Jerusalem and the battle of the promise of the hereafter, we are not talking about liberating our land alone. The entire 510 million square kilometers of planet Earth will come under a system where there is no injustice, no oppression, no treachery, no Zionism, no treacherous Christianity. Israel is only the first target, says Hamas leader. The entire planet will be under our law. An old video of a Hamas co-founder has resurfaced amidst the Israel-Hamas war. Israel is only the first target. Okay, so I don't want to play too much of these videos because otherwise my video will become too long, and I want to hold people's attention because this is so important. Now, you understand what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. Hang on a sec. We're going to go here. All right. Now, the first thing, when I was talking to my sister on the phone, Father put the image in my head of Daniel 3. And he reminded me of the story of Nebuchadnezzar, who made an image of gold. Remember, it's all about the image, brothers and sisters. And what did these people do? The King Nebuchadnezzar, okay, he sent letters to all the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, all of the rulers, right? And he told them that when at the time that you hear the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the jechima, and all kinds of music, you need to fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, has set up. And who doesn't fall down and worship, in the same hour it's going to be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Okay, except in our time, and coming up very shortly, it's not going to be by a burning fiery furnace, it will be by beheading. Okay? So what is the number one nation in the world or religious group that by the millions falls down to their feet when they hear the sound come over the loudspeakers? Look at that. Bowing down to their feet to this Kaaba. And I'm going to tell you something about this temple here with this black stone in it. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, this is just here in Mecca. Okay, this is 24 hours a day that these people walk anti-clockwise around this temple with this black stone. Okay, so I hope you can understand the significance of this and why when people make the claims, and they're not scared to make claims now, but many have come out. We've seen it just after the war started, that many leaders have come out and said the only way to fix this is that the whole world is under Sharia law. In many places in the UK, in New York City, and all over the place in the USA and in other parts of the world, in Germany, in wherever, in Europe, they have the Muslims' prayer, call to prayer. Okay, 5 times a day, no matter what they're doing, they lay their mat out, they face Mecca, and they pray. Okay, this is something, and so many people, brothers and sisters, and I want to remind you that that guy named Andrew Tate, a very influential person. He recently left Christianity and has now become a Muslim. He is going to be used as a very well instrument to bring many over to that side. And my son, he quite often jokes about it and has it as his thing, where they walk around saying Allah Akbar, and he thinks, because, he plays a lot of the computer games, and they just have been pre-programmed to believe that, holy wars, wage wars against, the oppressed and all this stuff. It's coming, brothers and sisters. It's absolutely coming. So, we've got that. So again, this is Daniel 3 repeating itself. At the time that you hear the music being played or the command being said over the loudspeaker, this is what they're doing now. And millions and millions and millions of people are doing this as well. Okay. So, what's one of the next thing that we have to look for and worry about? So many people think this is China, and it very well could be. Says the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, so that's 200 million, and I heard them. They're the army of the 4 angels that are going to be loosed from the river of Euphrates, which is exactly the river that runs through Syria, Iran, Iraq, the Jordan, all those places, right? The Middle East, right there. And that's where those 4 angels, they are bounded up and they're going to be loosed. Exactly like Satan is going to be loosed from his, where he's imprisoned at the bottomless pit. And boy, do I have something incredible to show you about the bottomless pit. And this is why it makes sense that we're not waiting, in future time to have another 1,000 years rest after, this is all going to go down. Father is going to finish this. He's going to finish this, brothers and sisters. We are coming up to the pivotal point of Father saying, it's done, it's finished, enough is enough. My patience exists no more. Okay? So, we see here that somebody has to have an army of 200,000, okay, which is 200 million or 2 billion. Look at this. 15 astonishing facts. Global Muslim population revealed 2023. The global Muslim population is projected to reach 2.3 billion. Look at this. Okay. Absolutely incredible. 2.3 billion by 2023. Muslims will make up approximately 30% of the world's population by 2023. Indonesia is expected to have the largest Muslim population in 2023 with over 350 Muslims. The point I'm trying to make, brothers and sisters, is here we are. We've got 2.3 billion Muslims in the whole world. And this is the army. This is the army that's going to fight. And I just saw the other day on YouTube is, I'm pretty sure it's the Syrian army. And they have an incredible army, just like China's army. It just reminds me of Joel 2, where it says they're going to march in their rank and not disturb their order. They're just so left, right, yes sir, no sir. They were willing to die, and they are coming to help the Palestine people. Who are the Philistines? Okay, let's be real here. That's who they are. They're the Philistines. Okay, so that is the prophecy being fulfilled right before our eyes. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is this.
What I was suggesting, you're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith. And you're absolutely right that has not
Christian
come
faith.
My Christian faith. And what I'm saying is he hasn't suggested that I'm you're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith and talked about my Muslim faith. And
okay, many of us have suspected this guy for so long as some kind of son of perdition. Okay, I've always put it with Obama, Trump, and Charles. Look, they're all different heads of the same snake. Okay, they're all working together to bring across whoever's going to be the AC, the Antichrist, okay? We might not even know this, but these are the players that are going to help this come to be. We've known that in 2013, during this man's presidency, he went to, right on Passover too, he went to the grotto in Bethlehem where Christ was said to be born, and he stood there, he didn't bow, he didn't give any reverence, and he was definitely standing where he ought not to. Just like Daniel prophesied. See, prophecies can have dual meanings. We've got to remember that. Just because a prophecy has been fulfilled doesn't mean it's going to be fulfilled. It won't be fulfilled later in the future. Father said there's nothing new under the sun. What was once before will happen again. I'm going to declare the end from the beginning, right? And so when we know all these things about Obama, and we know that, his so-called wife is really a man, and we know that, in the Hebrew where it reads, or in Luke 10 where it says, I've seen you fall like lightning, or wherever it was in the Bible, and that is, Barack Obama, literally in Hebrew. Then you have things like this, where the littlest Black Panther, okay, Bari M. Shabazz, aka Barack Obama. Okay, and this is the book here, and I want you to notice something about this book. So I'm going to read a bit of an article about this book shortly. But I want you to know the title on here. It says Angels and Saints at Ephesus. That Ephesus is so important, brothers and sisters. Now, before I go to show you this, where are we? This thing here, this Kaaba, C-A-A-B-A, Kaaba, okay, that black stone that sits in the corner of this thing, they literally say that it's a meteorite and it came from outer space, and Muhammad himself enclosed that black stone into this temple here, okay? So in knowing that this black stone, which they class as a meteorite, fell from the heavens. Remember that. It fell from the heavens. Now we're going to go here. Where are we? Back to this book here. And our brother Steve Fletcher did a video recently, and he showed this, and this is where I got this from, and I looked into it and got the actual PDF of the book. And it talks about how Barack Obama that's not his real name. His real name, and he was born at a completely different time. He was born on October the 28th, I think. I'll read it to you in a second. But anyway, long story short, Barack Obama is actually supposed to be the child of Malcolm X. Okay, and now have a look at Barack's family. Obama's family now, him and his so-called wife, they adopted those two girls. I know they say that, that's their biological children, but everybody's well aware that, well, maybe some people aren't, but it's very well known among the conspiracy circles that those children aren't actually his, okay? He just has them to look like a normal person. So this is why this doesn't surprise me, that this man here actually grew up as the child of Malcolm X. Now, everybody knows who Malcolm X is. Well, I hope you do, because he is a very prominent Muslim, right? And this is why Barack Obama has that Muslim faith that he fraudulently slipped out of his mouth when he should have said my Christian faith, but he really told the truth. And so getting back to this book here, about Bari M. Shabazz, aka Barack Obama, called The Angels and the Saints at Ephesus. When you go to Acts 19, you read here in verse 35, and when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, Ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how the city of Ephesians is a worshipper of the goddess Diana and of the image that fell down from Jupiter? I mean, brothers and sisters, this is amazing. So this is the article here, okay? So I'll skip the top bit for the sake of time. It says, why would Obama have been given that name? So it's apparently, we think he's born on October the 4th, 1961, but apparently he's born on October the 28th, 1959. And why would Obama have been given the name if he was the son of Stanley and Barack Hussein Obama Sr.? Because in fact he may have been the son of Stanley and Durham and Malcolm X. Okay? Amazing. And just like the Muslims, and they'll say, yeah, we don't worship the Kaaba and all this kind of rubbish, but they're giving so much energy. This goes on 24 hours a day. And that black stone was a meteorite that came down from heaven. And then we read here in Acts that the people of Ephesus worshipped an image that fell down from Jupiter. Okay, the great goddess Diana. Now we read here, you can have a look at this for yourself, but on the Dome of the Rock, on the cornerstone of it, there's a literal inscription that Allah has no son, and that is in the pure disrespect and blasphemy to the whole point of the Bible and the whole reason that Father gave his one and only begotten Son, that whoever shall believe in him shall be saved. So this is in direct, contrary to what the truth is. So on the, on the mosque, there's an inscription: Allah has no son. It just gets worse and worse. Now, you read the story of Ishmael and Isaac. When I read that story, how Abraham, he couldn't have a kid with Sarah for a long time, and so Sarah said, go and have a baby with my handmaiden, right? Hagar, I think her name was, something like that. And basically, so Hagar fell pregnant and she had Ishmael, and Sarah became jealous and told her to go away. And so Hagar was really sad, and she sort of was going out to die and basically feel sad for herself, and God said to her that I'm going to make you a great nation, okay, but I'm going to bless Isaac with my covenant. So this is another circumstances of brother jealousy, and this is why I talked about in my videos about the pattern that you see of the jealousy of brothers. And this is why I was questioning, I didn't say thus saith the Lord, but this is why I was questioning and proposing that Satan and Yeshua, Jesus Christ, may have been some kind of siblings or brothers in the kingdom prior to all of this, prior to us falling. And even if they weren't, Satan may have been very high up. He may have been second in charge, and then when Father begot the Son, there may have created a deep sense of jealousy within it, because you see the story over and over and over again. The first is with Cain and Abel, then it's with Joshua and his Joseph and all of his brothers, then it's Jacob and Esau, and Ishmael and Isaac. It's over and over and over again. So this is why I brought that up. It's just something to have a little bit open mind about and think about it. So when you read that, you see this article here that this is saying Ishmael and Isaac, the birth of the Israel-Palestinian conflict. This is exactly why it is to this day. Ishmael went off, I believe, very much and created the Muslim race. And this is why it's such a great nation, okay? But whether they're a great nation, and Ishmael happens to be the older brother. It's always the older brother, right? And Ishmael is jealous. He's jealous because he was given the blessing to become a great nation, but Isaac was given the blessing of the covenant, God's people. And this is where the fighting has extended to this day, and this will be the fight to the end. This will be the battle to the end. Okay, there you can see in Genesis 17, it says, God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seeds after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I'll make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. So this is the jealousy, okay? This is the absolute jealousy. Now, I won't go too much into this video here, but this is talking about... Oh, this is actually amazing. Maybe we should watch a little bit of this. This is talking about the Kaaba again, this place here. Okay, the Kaaba. Let's watch some of this.
Baal Zephon is translated by Strong's Concordance as Lord of the North. Inscriptions have shown that the name Baal was particularly associated with the storm and fertility god Hadad and his local manifestations. God instructed the Israelites to encamp by the sea directly opposite Baal Zephon.
Okay, so the Lord, this is in Exodus 14. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-hahiroth between Migdol and the sea. And they encamped by the sea directly opposite Baal Zephon. Okay.
And curiously enough,
there. And, you know, this is where, when they cross the Red Sea, it's directly east to Mecca. Okay, very, very, very strange. And, you know, that's what they did. I mean, have a look when Moses went up to receive the 10 Commandments. He was only God for 40 days. And what were they doing down there? They were putting all their gold together. And it was Aaron who actually suggested to do this. The brother of the eldest brother of Moses, mind you. He actually said to all the people, you know, all right, give us all your gold and everything, and then we'll put it together, we'll melt it down, and we'll make this golden calf. And then Aaron himself again said, tomorrow you're going to have a feast day, and you can dance around, you have your orgies, whatever you want to do, right? But this is it. This is why the people crossed the Red Sea. They had remember they took a lot of Egyptians with them too, the Israelites, when they came out. And, you know, this is why God is so furious and he's had enough. And they went directly east to Mecca. Okay, so I'm going to link all of these down below, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going through. I'm just trying to make the point to you that this has been one long story from the beginning that is now reaching its conclusion. Okay, it's now reaching its absolute conclusion. Look at this, brothers and sisters. You know, they want to say they don't worship the Kaaba, but look at this old footage. What does that look like to you? Praying to Allah. Going anti-clockwise around his table.
لبيك اللهم هبل لبيك يحدون الأمل الحمد لك وشكر لك وكلنا نخضع لك لبيك اللهم هبل لبيك يحدون الأمل لبيك اللهم هبل لبيك يحدون الأمل الحمد لك وشكر لك وكلنا نخضع لك لبيك اللهم.
Okay, so you can get the point. Brothers and sisters, they have been doing this for a long time, and there may be many deceived people within all religions, okay? And this is truly where I think Father said in the book of Revelation that those of you that don't know the deep things of Satan, I'm not going to give you any other burden, but hold fast to what you have to receive your crown of life. But the reality of it is that this place, okay, this place, in case I don't come across it in my next few videos, this place is the temple of Baal. Okay, it is said to have the statue of Baal in that temple and underneath the temple, right? And there was, prior to Muhammad and all this, the Muslims believe that Abraham and Ishmael built this thing. Okay, Abraham and Ishmael, not Isaac, but Abraham and Ishmael. And that once a year, everybody would bring, from all the tribes around, everybody would bring their god, and they would put their god in this temple, and they would all go walk counterclockwise, as they do to this very day, and celebrate all of their, all of their gods together. It was kind of like a peace treaty. And it was like, all right, well, let's just, call it peace for like one day and then, or however long it went on. But then they had marketplaces, and they had, they were swapping and selling and probably doing all sorts of other stuff as well. But this was the origins of this cabal. Okay, and they're still doing the same thing to this day. And this is exactly, when you look around the world, what it is like in Daniel 3, when they heard the sound come over the loudspeaker, they all drop to their knees, and they do this 5 times a day. All right, let's keep moving on. All right.
Baal was a moon god, and his symbol was the crescent. The crescent is not the symbol of Islam, but it is the symbol of Hubal, the moon god. Hubal, the moon god of pre-Islamic Arabia. Hubal or Baal was one of the chief gods of pre-Islamic Quraysh. In his name, many children were sacrificed. Hubal was a moon god, and his symbol was the crescent. The crescent is not the symbol of Islam, but it is the symbol of Hubal, the moon god.
Okay, Hubal is the moon god. This is exactly what I just showed you here, where he talks about Hubal. Where are we? Okay. Hubal and Hadad. I think it was, where is it here? Here, prior to Islam, the Kaaba was the holy site for various Bedouin tribes throughout the Arabian Peninsula. Once every year, every lunar year, Bedouin people would make a pilgrimage to Mecca, setting aside any tribal feuds, that they would worship their gods in the Kaaba and trade with each other in the city. This is unbelievable, brothers and sisters. I hope you're understanding this. Now you see here, this is the same thing. This is the statue that was the centerpiece. This was the head god of all those hundreds of gods that were brought to that Kaaba, right? And his name was Hubal, which eventually became what we know as Baal, B-A-A-L, okay? And he was the moon god. Now, I know in the first video I showed you, he said that gematria was witchcraft, but this is exactly why I want you to see what in the name of Allah is in gematria, because if it's witchcraft, then they're going to be very powerful in their symbols. Okay, you go to gematria. As you can see here, I typed in the name of Allah. Okay, you come down here, the moon god, okay, Hubal, the moon god. So now, before I get into that, I want to show you something. As we can see, getting back to this image now, that this is the most incredible thing, because I thought, okay, that makes absolute sense that we're talking about, they're going to have the mark on their forehead and in their hand. And I think he goes into, into it here. We'll just watch this.
Salah ad-Din and his men with these badges talking to the king. You will see at some point in time, pause it, when you see Salah ad-Din and his men with these badges on their arms. Because it says on the right arm, the arm is dexios. Dexios means arm and not specifically hand. The word for mark is karagma, Greek, which means badge of servitude.
Exactly.
It's a literal badge, all right? Made out of paper, etching, cloth, that is put on the forehead, and on it is several things. It could be the name of the beast, the mark of the beast, the multitude of the beast, and being the name of the beast is the Islamic declaration they already put on their foreheads. There is no God but Allah.
Okay, so as you can see, it is, okay, it is dexterous, I think he said. It not necessarily means hand, it means arm. Okay, and then there was a complete another word for the word mark, and it was some Greek name that he said, but that was a banner or a badge of servitude. So, brothers and sisters, we've been so deceived, and this makes so much sense. These are one group of people that want to take over the world and have us worship Allah, who claims that he has no son. And how do they, and instead of being thrown into a fiery furnace, if you don't want to bow down at worship, when you hear this sound come over the loudspeaker, what is going to happen to you? You're going to be beheaded. Okay? Are you seeing how important this is, brothers and sisters? Because this is why there's so many videos out there, and I thought for the same too, that, the jab was the mark and everything because of the DNA manipulation. It is definitely not a good thing. Nobody should have got it, and anybody who has got it, be assured that it is not the mark of the beast. However, you need to fall to your knees and pray and ask for forgiveness from the Almighty Father, okay? Because that was an act of trust and loyalty, how much trust you had in the Father. If you took it, brothers and sisters, please, you are not lost, you are not damned, it was not the mark, but please ask for forgiveness immediately. So, let's continue on here. All right. So, this is the incredible thing. So, my sister and I were talking about this, and I was letting her know that I'd seen this movie, this video about talking about how these symbols were actually Aramaic in a Greek text, and this is why they were so hard to decipher, but it is in the name of Allah. So where we read 666, it actually is, and the mark and the name is, have wisdom, the mark is in the name of Allah. That's what it's going to be. That's what's going to damn you, because it is about worship, and it makes so much sense. Just like the, who was it? Was it Elijah that had the big fight off with some other country, and basically he's like, oh, you get a sacrifice and I'll get a sacrifice on a burnt offering, and you light a fire to your sacrifice and you ask your God to come and smite it down with water or fire or something like that and consume it, and then I'll do the same, except Elijah, he poured water all over his, and then he just waited. He sat by and waited for them to do their chantings, and he waited for hours, and he even poked fun of him and said, where's your God? Is he sitting on the toilet? What's going on? It was pretty funny. And, and then as soon as it was I think it was Elijah. I could be wrong though. But as soon as it was his turn, God consumed it. Okay, just like Abel's sacrifice. Father consumed Abel's sacrifice, and he rejected Cain's, and therefore the jealousy has started. The same thing is happening over and over again. So I'm thinking, all right, we have, what possibly in our day and age could be the image of the beast? Because this is the one thing I'm like, yeah, okay, I can understand how it's the mark and the name, okay, in the name of Allah, and the mark is the banner or the material that you wear around your forehead or your arm of servitude. Okay, I get that. That's perfect. And then I'm thinking, what is going to be the image? How can something like Islam, where's this image coming from? And how is the image getting power to speak? Because that sounds very AI. It sounds very digital. And as I was talking to my sister, Father placed this image on my head, in my head, not on my head, in my head, and I had a big squeal, and I told my sister, I'm like, blah, 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 and we were just like, oh, no way. And so, okay, get this, brothers and sisters. The reason they have been using the passports and especially the QR codes, okay, holding the phone up to get the QR codes and everything like this, to get us in the practice of, checking in, okay, because this is how they're going to do it. This is how think about this, brothers and sisters, how is the whole world going to be forced to worship this image of the beast? The whole world. What does the whole world have? A phone. Okay, and if you don't have a phone, if you just think, oh, well, I'll just chuck my phone away, the majority of the people have had the jab. And that's got digital technology in it, that's got nano building blocks, that's got all sorts of nanotechnology in it, digital technology, etc., etc. We won't go into that. They're going to be able to track you, they're going to be able to find you, and this is how it's going to communicate with your phone. There is going to be, and what I saw that Father placed in my mind was a hologram that is going to come up on our phone, and it is going to display the image of the beast, and it is going to speak. And you are going to have to fall to your knees and worship and check in. And it is going to be done in the way of a hologram. Okay, and this here was done 5 years ago. Okay, this is the program and developers. Holographic phone is coming. I bet it is. Because the thing that Father, as with the vision that he put in, not a vision, but just with the picture in my mind of a hologram, that's how they're going to make the image to speak. And then he put with the QR codes and everything like that, and that's how we're going to have to check in, where it's going to be the same as they do it today, brothers and sisters. We're going to have, or we're not going to be here, but the people will have a noise come up on their phone, and they're going to have to stop whatever they're doing, just like it said in Daniel. Okay, when you hear the sound of the cornet or the harp or all kinds of music or the loudspeaker on your phone, you must fall down and worship the image. Okay, and now we have to look at our day and age. Now we have to have a look at our day and age of what is the image. And you look at your phone, and if you have a photo, it'll say image 246, or image 247. This is it, brothers and sisters. It's going to be, we're going to be doing our daily work, and 5 times a day, the sound is going to come on your phone, and it's going to do the call to make you confess that there is no God but Allah, and that he has no son, a total rejection and blasphemy of everything, this is the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. This is why you are damned if you take the mark, and you are damned if you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is the blasphemy of denying the Son and denying the power of God. Okay, those who've taken the mark of the beast, the servitude of the beast, via submitting to this system of, you know, because this is going to be the only way you're going to be able to buy and sell and eat and drink. Because if you don't check in, if you don't fall to your knees, and they're going to be able to tell everything that you do, because they can already monitor you now. What do you think is going to happen when the hand of God has been removed? They're going to have full access to you. And because a lot of people have already put in the digital devices within themselves via the jab, this is easy game for them. Easy game. Okay, this is why people will have to give their life up after the initial bride rapture, where it says many are called but few are chosen. And I know, brothers and sisters, that for a time there, for a month or so, that I was doing videos and saying that it's just one big rapture and everyone's going to go, the good, the bad, and everybody. But it is so obvious, brothers and sisters, and I think Father had me feel that for a period of time, for a season, so as to make everybody stop worrying so much about their loved ones and their pets and everything like this. Because God was like, stop worrying about everything, start trusting me. He's so sick of people worrying all the time. It just shows the mistrust. We are to have complete faith, brothers and sisters, even if our loved ones are not on fire as us, or is not watching and waiting diligently like us. That is not our job. That is not our concern, brothers and sisters. We must continue to set good examples for our loved ones, and we must continue to pray for them. But we have done our job when we give them meat in due season. And when I tell you, brothers and sisters, that yesterday, after I had that phone call with my sister, and we just had this wonderful revelation from the Father about all of this, I wrote everything down quickly before I forgot, and then I jumped on to BibleGateway.com, and the scripture verse was Psalms, I want to say 53, no, that's not right, Psalms 15 maybe, and it was saying something in the effect of, actually I'll find it. Okay, I can't find the exact one what it was, but it said something along the lines of, how wonderful is it that when Father gives you a word in due season, how good is it? Okay, I've just looked everywhere for it, but when I read that, immediately after he just revealed this thing about how that we'd received this word in due season and how good it was, like we were on fire, you know, and that's why I wanted to do this video last night, but I was just still like buzzing, and I thought, no, I've got to be of sound mind to do this properly. But when I hear of the phrase due season, this is exactly what it talks about in Matthew too, when he says, therefore also be ready, for in such an hour you think not the Son of Man will come. Who then is faithful and a wise servant, whom his Lord has made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Okay, meat, the bread of the food of the word of God. It is our job as the ruler of our household, the candlestick, right, of our household, to just give our loved ones meat in due season, to say, all right, this is the season. And now that we've got everything that's going on in Israel and Palestine and the Middle East and everything like this, this is the best season to give them meat, brothers and sisters. Because we've got something to back us up now. We can say, look, all this stuff was prophesied in the Bible. In the book of Luke 21, it says, when you see the army surrounding Jerusalem, you know that the desolation is very close. So we've got something physical to back us up now, tangible, that they can see. So we need to be faithful and give meat in due season. Okay, so like I said, we'll get back to this. The reality is catching up with the science fiction. Okay, this was done 5 years ago, brothers and sisters, but can you only imagine? And, you know, they say their technology is always, 100 years ahead of us. Imagine the technology that they're going to have, next year or whenever this comes out. Okay, the technology on the hologram phone. This is exactly what Father showed me, but he gave it to me actually from Star Wars. He put on in my thought, in my brain, about a picture of the Star Wars holograms, where R2-D2 would give him, open his little thing, and then there'd be a hologram that came out. And when I seen that in my mind, I was like, oh my goodness, Father, that's reminded me straight away of Daniel 3. That, not Daniel 3, of Revelation 13. The image was given power to speak, because I knew it was something to do with AI. And then with Daniel 3, when you hear this noise, everybody, man, woman and child, must bow down. Okay, this is exactly what all of these people already do. 30% of the world, brothers and sisters, already do this wherever they are. And that, I hope you see the importance of this and how incredible it is for a time that Father has shown this right now. Because, if I would have said this 5 years ago, and this is why I didn't know 5 years ago, because it wouldn't have, we wouldn't have had the wars, it would have been considered racist. But now, brothers and sisters, and that's not to say, look, there's plenty of beautiful people in all faiths of life, okay? But this is why the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. And at the time of trial upon the whole world is coming, is to try and turn them back to the Almighty God. And I truly think this is why that going back to there is a bride rapture and that there is a guest rapture. I truly believe there is 2 raptures, and I know you're probably going to be like, stop swapping. But this is what's happening, brothers and sisters. For a season we have this. And I don't question God. I just follow in faith of what He's showing me and what He's putting on my heart. And I ask Him always. I put my hand on the Bible. Speak through me, Father. Your words, your will, not mine. So He has me for a time, letting everybody just have a bit of peace and to stop worrying and to concentrate on the trust in Father, rather than always worrying about your pets and in regards to pets, brothers and sisters, who went on the ark first? Was it the animals or was it Noah? That should tell you how much Father loves, the animals and stuff like that. So please stop worrying about your loved ones. Everybody will be where they need to be. It is our job to plant the seeds, because those seeds will flourish during this time of trouble for those that are going to be left behind. Okay? We've all got to go through this. I'm probably going to have family members. I'm going to probably have my 2 oldest boys are going to be, that might have to go through this as well. But I have faith. I have faith that I've told them enough. They were just here on the weekend, actually. And, my eldest son has just told me that his, not just told me, but him and his girlfriend, they're pregnant and they're having a baby. So it's due on a week after my birthday next year in February. So, I could be weighed down and sad about all of these things, but I trust my Father in heaven. So I'm not going to be. I just let them know. I've told them many times. They know that I believe in the rapture. And I've told them many times that when something hits the fan and there's no communication or anything like that, that you head up to the Daintree rainforest. Okay, you need to go where it's very treed, and this goes for anybody. Regardless, you won't be able to prep. This whole prepping thing. It may last for a couple of days and a week maybe, but everything will go to chaos as soon as this goes down. As soon as we're taken, as soon as the voice of the bridegroom is removed, sudden destruction will happen, brothers and sisters, and your loved ones will have to flee. And they'll have to flee. They can only take a bottle of water, the clothes on their back, and the Bible with all your notes. Hopefully you've been making notes. They need to flee to a very treed area, because the trees, they hold life. and their infrared crap can't penetrate through the trees. Okay, they need to go there and they need to rely on God. God will provide manna, He will provide water, He will provide protection from the face of the serpent for those 1,260 days, or the 42 months of Satan's reign. That's what you need to do. Okay, all that thousands and thousands of dollars that people have spent on prepping food, it's going. You don't think these elites and that you're going to be the first target? I'm sorry, but your houses will be the first target. They're going to come there and they're going to take all your supplies because they know exactly where you bought them from. You bought it over your phone using your credit card. You know, they're not silly brothers and sisters. But anyway, enough of the negative message. But I just want to show you how amazing that this is, and this is why it'll fit, that no man will be able to buy and sell unless he has the mark, or the mark of servitude, the cloth or the banner of servitude across his forehead and on his arm, and it's going to be the number of his name, and the number of his name is that Aramaic symbol of in the name of Allah. Okay, and see up here when we read, and I saw one of his heads. Oh, we see here also too, before I get too far, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and I showed you here. Okay. Okay, he is known. He was known as the littlest black panther. Okay, a leopard, a panther. It's was it? Yeah, so the image is already there. The image is already there, and then it says, I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and the world wandered after this beast. Okay, this beast. The reason he has a deadly head wound is because when Satan, okay, this is how it's going to play out, brothers and sisters. As I've shown you before on my chart, we'll go to the chart so that I can explain it a little bit more easy. Okay, as I've shown you here, and remember I said everything there's nothing new under the sun. Dual prophecies exist. So now we have the final. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to show you too. Well, I can just tell you, you can, obviously everyone's got a calculator, you can do the math yourself in your head. But even though we have the literal days here of Daniel 12, of the 1,335 days that we need to wait, where it says, blessed is he who waits for those 1,335 days from the time the abomination was set up. We can also have a look at a dual prophecy where a day is like a year, and that's 1,335 years. Okay? If you take 2023, the year that we're living in now, and you minus 1,335 years, you come to the year 688 AD. What was built in 688 AD? The Dome of the Rock. The abomination that's set up. Okay, the abomination that was set up. And then is blessed is he who waits for the 1,335 days or years. And that came to 2023. So let's have a look at the literal days now. On March the 16th, 2020, we see that the abomination of the abomination that makes desolate was set up. And there's going to be 1,290 days. March the 16th, 2020 was the very first injection of the jab. Okay, in Daniel 11 we read that the enemy had intelligence to pollute the holy sanctuary. Okay, and that's the Holy Sanctuary is our temple where our Almighty Father resides in. Okay, there was a pollution, there was a breach. Okay, and that is our marker to know, because the command came when we were told about this so-called pandemic, and then the actual, signing of it, which was the injection in this case. The first day was the 16th of March 2020, and then 1,290 days later was the 27th of September 2023. Blessed are those who wait 45 more days to the 1,335 days, and that is the 11th of November 2023. 11/11, okay, 2023. And okay, so with that being said, this is the day I truly believe that we're going to be redeemed, brothers and sisters. I truly believe that we're going to be redeemed. Like I showed you just before, if you do the yearly count, if a day is a year, then from the time that the Dome of the Rock was built, 1,335 years later, will be the year 2023. Now, also in this month of November, all right, I think it's about, they don't know, they're not too sure, they think it's either the 11th, the 12th or the 13th of, the Islam will come into their 5th month. Okay, they'll come into their 5th month because they're always 12 days behind, 11 or 12 days behind. And they believe in that particular month, which will fall in November for us, that is the year the Prophet Muhammad was born and the Prophet Muhammad died. Just like Moses. Moses was born in the same month that he died. Okay, so he was born in a certain month and then he died in that very same month, just like Prophet Muhammad. Okay, he died in the 5th month. He was born in the 5th month and then died in the 5th month as well. So, this is how I see it playing out. This is where we're going to see between the 27th of September and the 11th of November, I think we're having our last final labour pains, brothers and sisters, our last final labour pains. And that, can you imagine? It's still another, it's still another 17 more days before the 11th of November. Imagine how much worse the war is going to get over there. We're like sitting on a nuke right now. The nuke will not happen until we're out of here, I can promise you that. But it's going to push and push and push and push, and it's going to be so bad. So at this time, what's going to happen is Satan has been bound, and I've gone through that, and I'm going to do another video because I did a whole study on it, but then Father put this on my spirit. This is way more important at the moment, okay? So you have to just give me the benefit of the doubt at the moment. Satan's been bound, and he is going to be released the same time that we get redeemed, because of what's written in Revelation 12, is that Satan goes to devour the child as soon as it's born, but he misses it, okay? And when he misses the child, he gets released out of this pit. We go up, and he's like, I missed you. Okay, so what's the next thing he's going to do? Is he's going to attempt to go up into the wedding feast with us, brothers and sisters. This is where we get the wedding parable, where the king comes and says, hey, how did you get in here without a wedding garment? And that guest was speechless. So the king's servants were told to bind him hand and foot and cast him down. Okay, cast him down. This is going to initiate the war in heaven, where Michael, who is the servant of God, is going to cast Satan down, okay? And when he casts Satan down, this says that Satan's going to go after the remnant of the church, of the woman, okay? The remnant of the woman is 144,000. He goes after the woman first, which is the church that's been left behind. And he goes to wage war on the saints, okay? And this is in the way of worship. And this is exactly what I was talking about before. But, and then right at the end it says he's going to go for the remnant of the woman's seed, and that is 144,000. But anyway, this is for another time. So Satan's little season that he gets released from the pit from is 1,260 days or 42 months, and that will bring us to the 24th of April 2027, which happens to be Resurrection Day, the 17th of Nisan. The 11th of November 2023 happens to be the 27th of Chesvan. That's the day that Noah and his family came off the ark, brothers and sisters, onto dry land, into the promised land. Absolutely incredible. So that is amazing. What else did I have? Okay, here, before I go quickly, I need you to think logically for a second, because for you to understand that Satan's been bound at the moment, it's going to make so much more sense why this is all going to go down. And then once this goes down, it's going to be it. Okay, because it says here in Revelation chapter 9, okay, that this fifth angel, okay, there's 7 angels that sound the trumpet, right? This is the 5th one, so it's kind of like in the middle, right? The 5th angel sounded, saw a star fall from heaven to the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit. Where is Satan? Where does it say that he's bound? In the bottomless pit. Okay, the book of Revelation is not in consecutive order. Satan was bound, and now he has been opened from that pit. He's not going to be opened from this pit first and then bound later. Okay, he's been bound already up until I believe the 11th of November 2023. He's going to be bound, and he's about to be released. This key, this angel comes down with a key. It's going to open from the bottomless pit. Okay, it's logical, is it not, brothers and sisters? This is the 5th angel. This is, and you know, because people want to say, oh, he's loosened from the pit or put into the pit. You know, we're going to have this 1,000 years of rest, and then he's going to be open from the pit again, and then God's going to fight him, and Satan's going to gather all these people that are, I don't know where they're coming from after 1,000 years, but it just makes no sense. Here you see where the pit's open, and it's on the 5th angel. And, you know, it says the sun and air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit, and out comes locusts, right? Out comes locusts. So you can see here.
Worship. But then something unexpected and terrifying happens. You hear a loud buzzing sound, and you see thousands of insects flying in the air. They are locusts, black grasshoppers that can devour crops and vegetation in minutes. What do? Do you see that as a sign from God or a random incident? Would you run away, or would you stay and pray? It's not a hypothetical scenario. That's what actually happened in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, earlier this week, when a massive swarm of locusts invaded the Grand Mosque and caused chaos and panic amongst the faithful. In this video, we're going to show you the shocking footage of this bizarre event, and we're going to explore its possible meanings and implications.
Okay, again, I will add all the links to the description box. But there was a huge, it's the second one too. It's not the first time it's happened. There's probably been more. Huge locust plague. This thing here, brothers and sisters, I'm just going to say it because I keep forgetting to tell you. But this here is where the bottomless pit is, brothers and sisters. Underneath here is where the bottomless pit is. The Dome of the Rock. We have a thing next to it called, see, the Dome of the Rock is built in 688. So you can read from there. Yeah, anyway. But next to the Dome of the Rock, there is this thing called Dome of the Chain. Okay, that's right next to it, the Dome of the Chain. And this is right next to the mosque, and that's exactly what it says that Satan has been cast down in, okay, with chains. And where is this? All right, I want you to listen to a couple of minutes of this podcast.
I guess you wanted to talk about locations of kind of portals to the underworld in Indiana, or how spirits come and go in our realm of reality, something like that?
Well, the bottomless pit, like I was
Bottomless
saying,
pit. That's it.
yeah, or the abyss, on all the previous shows, like I've said before, if it's mentioned in the word, to me, it has to be a physical place on the planet, and everything's explainable if you just know what they're talking about. So the bottomless pit, everybody thinks, oh, bottomless pit. Now, how's that even possible? And by reasonable logical understanding, you would think it is impossible. Even the Romans believed in the bottomless pit where the dead would go. But the Bible talks about this bottomless pit, and it also talks about this end time beast is going to, come out of this pit, and it's also the place where Satan gets bound and put into the pit. So I know that sounds like, wow, that's a little heavy, but check this out, okay? The bottomless pit, to have a bottomless pit, and what's going to be mind blowing is this isn't my explanation or my idea, okay? This is their own beliefs, okay?
Whose beliefs?
Islam.
Islam has a
Yeah,
bottomless pit.
yeah. Now you got to remember, Muhammad came along about 660 years after Christ to establish Islam as we know it today. Allah, the God that he adopted from all the pagan tribes as the one God, was actually the supreme pagan deity of pre-Islamic Arabia. He was a god who beget, three daughters. Okay, he was very pagan and sacrifices and all this stuff, and it goes back to Baal and the Egyptians and the Babylonians. And basically, it's all the same astral worship, sun, moon, and star worship. But anyway, there is a location in Mecca where the cube sits. It's the Kaaba, and it's pretty much what you was talking about as far as Saturn's cube goes. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the religions, if you go back to Saturnalia, or whatever you want to call it, the circle with the dot in the middle of it is not only the symbol of the sun, it's the symbol of Saturn, it's a symbol of the eye, and it's also a symbol of their god. Anyhow, and that's why they make circuits, like when they go on the pilgrimage in Mecca, they all go around, counterclockwise around the cube in Mecca. That's their pilgrimage.
Right.
And they try to touch the cornerstone, which is interesting because it's a meteor that is encased in silver, and they believe that if they touch this stone, that stone has the power to remove their sins. So when you see the comparison that, Islam was founded on Antichrist, and they rejected the cornerstone, and their cornerstone represents the moon with silver, and it has this, rock, because they're rock worshipers, and it removes their sins. In other words, it's the exact counterfeit and a replacement of what Christ is. But anyhow, this structure, they say, was there, long before Muhammad came along. That was there since ancient times. And they even claim that Abraham built it, but whatever.
The cube, the cup. What's it called?
The Kaaba, Ka, and then it's got one of those little, I don't know what they call them.
Right.
A little dot, and then ABA, Kaaba, and it's the house of Allah. In ancient times, the reason they built that house is there was a pit there, okay? And they believed at that time the pit was bottomless because they could see no bottom, they could hear no bottom, and they used to throw sacrifices down into this hole or whatnot. Now, here's the interesting part. According to Islamic belief, they believe the invisible, infinite axis of the universe runs directly through there. You know how you have like an axis on the earth, it's an invisible axis, but it's still there's an axis there.
Right.
Well, they believe that there is an invisible infinite axis of the universe as well, and it runs directly through this pit. Okay.
And where is that pit located?
Inside the cube.
It's inside the cube.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in ancient times they used to throw sacrifices down to it, and then when Muhammad took it over, he took all the idols of all the different tribes or whatnot, and he threw them down into the pit because they don't believe in graven images. They got to have some kind of truth to get you to believe the lie. But anyhow, that's where they threw them down into this pit.
Okay, I'll leave it at that, brothers and sisters. I will pin this or put this in the description box as well, all of this stuff that I'm showing you today. So there you go. Prior to what we know as Islam today, the pre-Islamic gods were all put here, right? And then Muhammad came along, and he basically, they built this thing this temple, whatever it may be. Oh, no, they didn't build the Kaaba was already there, but Muhammad put that black stone that apparently came from, it was a meteorite, so just like Acts 19, okay? But there is a bottomless pit in there, brothers and sisters. This is their origins. This is what they're talking about. And they used to throw sacrifices down there and stuff like this today. Now, you tell me that this place here, and then right next to the dome, there's the Dome of the Chain. I mean, when you look at their pilgrimage walk that they have to do, it's like a 7-day thing. And once when they have to walk around the Mecca, you know, a couple of times, and then they have to go up and do this and up and do that. And then they have to, there's this other section there that's like a hollow hole with this like pillar that comes out of it. And the whole thing that they have to do is throw 7 stones at this pillar because they believe that's Satan. And this pillar goes right down deep into the earth. And their story is when Father asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, it said that the devil tried to come up and coerce Abraham or whatever, and Gabriel came to Abraham and said, throw some stones at Satan. Okay, this is what the Islamic people believe. Okay, so this is why they do this in their pilgrimages. They pick up these stones and they throw them at Satan. And the whole thing, brothers and sisters, is this is where the bottomless pit is. And this is why it makes so much sense that, you know, people will continue to say, oh, but how can you say Satan's not on this earth? Look how evil it is. As I have explained before, the evil spirits and the disembodied spirits of the fallen ones, the Nephilim, okay, that they have all the spirits, and that is what they're forever wandering this earth looking for bodies to possess. That is their job. They want a body to possess, and this is why you get evil people. But Satan himself he's been bound, just like the fallen angels that came down and mated with women, okay? Their punishment was to be bound in the earth for 70 generations. And that 70 generations is just about up, brothers and sisters. It's just about up. And they're all going to be released. The 4 angels that are in Euphrates River, Satan at his bottomless pit, and these, the 200 plus angels, whatever, the fallen ones that came down and mated with women. They're all going to be released. This is why men's hearts will faint with fear on what's coming upon this earth, and it's a time like never was, never before. Again, it's going to be horrendous, but this is where Satan is, and they're using CERN, the technology of CERN, to communicate with Satan, their master. Okay? But this is, and they're getting their instructions, and this is why, because Satan knows the time is coming. He knows, we know, everybody knows, okay? And this is why they're starting the war. They're starting the war over there, which is the beginning of the end. And eventually, Father's going to come and deliver us, and this thing is going to kick off, and the woman's going to give birth, and then it's just going to go from there. And this is it, brothers and sisters. This is literally it. So I wanted to make this video short and concise, but again, this information needs to be shown from all angles so that you don't say that I'm just grasping at straws. All I can do is put it out there. All anyone can do is get on their keyboard and start typing that I'm deceived or whatever, this is crap. That's fine. I leave all your comments up there because by everybody's words, we're going to be judged on what we say, what we write. So if you want to come at me, that's fine. I appreciate all of my beautiful brothers and sisters who give me the support and love. And, no one's ever holding a gun to your head and saying you have to watch my videos. So if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's fine. But I'm doing my job as a watchwoman and somebody who loves my brothers and sisters dearly, who wants them to see this stuff so that they can maybe tell in their own words to their family and loved ones of, this is looking like the mark of the beast. And this is something to look out for in the future. When you see this, you're better off just giving up your life, and therefore you'll have eternal life anyway, rather than being eternally doomed. So again, in a nutshell, the mark of the beast is in the name of Allah, okay? The mark is another word in Greek, and it's wearing the banner, a banner of servitude, and it's on the forehead or on the dectris, on the arm. And the image of the beast will come in the way of some kind of hologram on the phone. And just like in Daniel 3, when you hear the noise, every man, woman, child must bow down. And they're going to do like some kind of QR checking code that, you know, you're going to see a hologram come up on your phone. You're going to have to worship, and they're going to know if you're not worshipping it. And it doesn't matter if you don't have the phone, because they're going to find you from all their technology that they've already put in us. So, and you know, if people want to eat, people want to buy, people want to sell, they're going to worship this thing. And this is why the whole world ends up worshipping this beast. So this is how they're going to do it. Again, I praise Father. All glory goes to him. Thank you again to my sister for, you know, us having a conversation and this just being able to flow through us. And I hope I've done this justice. And I hope that you take this and run with it and go and study further into it. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's see what we've got here. An hour 30. Not too bad, but I'll leave it at that. And I might come back maybe tonight or tomorrow and do my other study to show you through all the scripture, Old Testament, New Testament, here, there, little, everywhere, little, 3 bags full, about how there is no 1,000-year reign. We don't go through all of this, brothers and sisters, to have a 1,000-year rest, right? And then come back to it again. You know, it's like leaving the dirty laundry for a week and then, oh, I'll do it in a week later. No, it doesn't work like that, brothers and sisters. Please use logical sense, okay? We are reigning with Christ right now. He gave us, go read Luke 10, okay? Luke 10, Christ says, I saw Satan fall like lightning. He saw him fall. And when he fell, he was bound into this pit, okay? And Christ said that I'm going to give you all power and authority over all the demons and over all the scorpions and serpents and all evil. I'm going to give you that power. That's when we're reigning with Christ. And that's been for 1,000 years. And as my video showed you, 1,000 years were added onto history through whitewashing, through very clever schemes of the Catholic Church. This whole thing goes back to Rome. This whole thing goes back to the Catholic Church and the Council of Nicaea, exactly where the doctrine of the Trinity came from. This is another thing that's all to do with this, right? It's, you know, you've got to be very careful. It's all to do with who do you worship? Who do you worship? All right, I love you, brothers and sisters. I'll leave that all for another time before I get carried away with all that again. But yeah, I hope this has blessed you as much as it's blessed me to bring it to you. And if I don't see you in the next video, I'll see you in the skies. God bless you. I love you. Bye-bye.